Hello, welcome to the wonderful world of random sequencing. This is my channel, and I have another channel, and it's called Sequencing Random Numbers. That's plural. And that's my email address, Gmail. And I do lotto sequencing. I do roulette sequencing, and the language behind roulette and lotto are pretty much the same, except the lotto obviously has bigger numbers, when it comes to the sequences. So this is basically analysis of SuperLotto Plus. And to understand random sequencing when it comes to lotto or roulette, you have to understand the concept of virtual numbers. Is like a virtual number is a number that could represent itself as, for example, this is 27, or it could be 72. It could play two functional roles. In other words, it could, as 72, it could answer a sequence, and as 27, it could also answer a sequence. In other words, like this sequence, if you see it as 27, and here's a bridge number. Now 27 carries a statement two sevens. What is 2 7? 7 7, and 7 plus 7 is equal to 14. So in other words, here's 27. You can see it like this, right? And then you have a bridge number. The bridge numbers are 11, 13, and 14. They help to bridge sequences. So going back to this, so you have 27, which carries a statement two sevens. 7 7 plus 7 plus 7 is equal to 14, so there's your 14. But if you continue with this sequence, it also leads to a 36. And the reason why is because this also represents 72. So that's what you would call a virtual number. It could play two roles, 27 and answer a sequence right here, or 72, because 36 plus 36 is equal to 72, and there it's bridged by this statement. So that's this is the I am statement, and so that's the concept there. And so you also have metamorphic numbers. Metamorphic numbers could be like this number here. You see that's like a fallen down 8. Double zeros like that is equal to 8. So that's, you can see how it's sequenced to that 8 right there. And then you have binary numbers. Binary numbers are basically like 11. That's equal to 3. And sometimes you get combination. Those are decimal to binary numbers. And these are two cells, like two sequence that have 111. That's 7, and linked to a 7. That could lead sequence to a 27 or 14. And so that's the concept of binary to decimal. You have also algorithms. All these numbers have they work as either algorithms, but sometimes you get large numbers, like here's the 68. This is SuperLotto, so it doesn't get that high, but you get combination cells on the right hand side. These right hand side digits, they have sequential potential. And so, one way to find out what this number is related to is just divide it by half. Half of that is 3, half of that is 4. So 34 plus 34 is equal to 68. So you'll get sequences like that. Here's, like, for instance, this is 34, 43. So this is basically 34 in a reverse sequence here. But it's equal to 34, 34, which equals 68. So that's these algorithms. And so I already told you that the bridge numbers, these are the bridge numbers that help to link sequences. But what we're going to be talking about right here is how this group of numbers here got played out. What I'd like to talk about is this particular concept. It's the 24 carries the statement 2 4s. What is 2 4s? 4 4. 4 plus 4 is equal to 8. Now, if you go to the sequence right here, notice that the environment you're in, you got 24, right? Remember, here's your 24. You got your 8. There's your 8, right? And so over here, you got 24. So this pretty much describes the environment. This is a reverse 24. Here's a 24. Here's your 8. And here's your 24. So that frequency of occurrence, that means that there's a good possibility that one of these numbers or two numbers are going to show up. Now, as you could see right here on this particular, you already have an 8, and so you're playing out this part, right? So you notice all the environment, 24, 8, 42, that's the reverse, 24, 24. See, so it probably won't play out an 8, but it could very well play out these two numbers, right? So a lot of times you get equivalent numbers that relate to each other on one line, on one Lotto sequence, you know. And so here's your 24, right? And so that is the theme. That's the theme because of the frequency that you see here and the numerology that's related. So if the 8 got played out, right, you're thinking maybe these two numbers might show up, right? So automatically you write those down on a piece of paper, and so you got 24 and you got 44 there, right? So now you got like two numbers right there. There are other numbers that you have to consider when you're making determination of what numbers are going to show up here. So in other words, you have to look at these sequences over here. These are very important. In other words, these are the calendar dates and the ticket numbers that they assign to. This has been planned out, you know, way in the past, right? And so these numbers have a synchronicity with these numbers. So it's important to analyze these numbers right here, because they will tell you what's going to happen over here. So we're at this point right here, see? So we already made the determination that 24 and 44 will be played out. Here's your 8 right there, right? So, and because of the frequency. Now, if you go over here, and that frequency is a very important concept, because if you go over here, right, notice how you have a 39 or 93, right? Now, if you multiply 3 times 31, 3 times 31 is 93. So this 93 is kind of a red flag, because if you look over here, you got 93. And so there is no such thing as 93, right? It has to be 39, right? It's kind of like a reverse sequence. So because of this equaling 93, and you got 93 there, there's a likelihood that you're going to get a 93 over here. So it's all about frequency, high frequency. It's kind of like an energy level. I like to talk about the 25. The 25 carries the statement 2 5s. 2 5s is 5 5, and 5 plus 5 is equal to 10, right? Okay, so if you go over here, notice how you do have a 25 right here, right? And you got a 10, right? And so if you look over here at these numbers, in other words, these digits to the right hand side, those are the ones that have sequential potential. You could either look at them like this, or you could look at them like this, right? And so these ones to the right. Now the better way of looking at it is over here, where I got the 25, 30, and 35, 25, 30, and 35. Now if you look at the digits on the right hand side, notice that they do form 50. See, there's 50 that way and 50 that way. And so if you go back to this concept, the 25 carries the same 2 5s, which is 5 5. So this number is already too big to be played out, right? But it has a 10 and 25. So if you have a 10 right here, see, on this one, it happens to be a half step away, see? There's your line. And so here's your 10. That's a half step away. So this number could get played out because of this 25, right? But you do have a 50. So that kind of gives you an idea that this number might be repeated. And if you did that, right, you put it there, notice how it does make a 50. See right here? It makes a 50. So 10 is equal to 25. So that's already an equal, see right here? 25 is equal to, so you already know that there's that relationship. So if you have a 10 there, and you have a 25 there, and over here you got 50, right? So it's good a possibility that it's going to create another 25, because 25 plus 25 is equal to 50. And you got a little link, you have that link right here, 50, you see? I'd like to talk about this concept right here, the 96. And the 96, as you can see, it says right here, 96 is equal to 48, 48. And one way you can make a 48, 48 sequence, remember I have the 4 right over here, the 4 linking to a 44, because we already made a determination there's going to be a 44. The problem is that you don't know if it's going to be there, or I mean here or here, right? Either here or here. So the thing is that if it's a half step away, then what you have right here is, this is another way of making 48, 48. If you link an 8 to 44, because this makes a 48 and this makes 48, and that's equal to 96. So if you go over here, you do have your 96, right? And you have your 8 right there, right? So there's your 8. So if it links a half step away, it will create a 48, 48. So this is an important sequence that if you're, if you're studying the sequences, this is one way to make a 48, 48. And this is the ticket number, which is 96. So this ticket number relates to this particular sequence right here. I'd like to go back to this concept here. Notice how we do have the 8 right here, right? So we already determined that there's a good possibility you could get these two numbers, right? So we made that decision right there, right? So here's the number, and over here's another number. So we already figured the 39, why that happened, and the 25, why that happened, and so we're trying to figure out why the 26 might happen. So once again, you have to look at frequency of occurrence, where you can get a group of numbers where it stands out. For instance, if you look at this number, you got a 26, right? And over here, you got a 26, right? And over here, you have a 2 linked to a 6. That's 26. So that's what you call frequency of recurrence. So that's a good possibility that this number is going to create a 26. Now, obviously, we already know that a 24 is over here. So it's probably going to be, and a 25 was created, right? So it has to be over here. It's the bonus. So basically, we got all these numbers, and this number, the only one that wasn't determined is this number. The only thing I could think of is that if the 28, let me explain what the 28, the 28 carries the statement 2 8s. Oops, 2 8s. And 8 plus 8 is equal to 16. So if you see this as, in other words, 2 8s, right? 2 8s. So if this is, if you look at this, okay, so here's 2 4s is 4 4, that's 8, right? 2 4s is 4 4, that's also 8. So the statement 2 8s is 28. See? So that's the only thing I could think of. And so these are the numbers. As I said, frequency of occurrence, here's 26, here's 26, and over here is 2 linked to a 6, and this is 26. So since there was we already determined that it was going to be a 24 here, right? Because of this 8, right? And so we already determined that it was going to make a 25, 25 because of the 50, and knowing that the 10 is equal to 25. In other words, 2 5s is 5, 5, and 5 plus 5 equals to 10. So there's a relationship there, and it formed a 50, you see right there. And so pretty much we've already explained all that 39 was over here. 3 times 31 is 93, and here's your 93. So if you reverse those numbers, you get 39. So that's pretty much it right there, see? And so again, these numbers are highly important. You got to find out what is the frequency. Like this is 93, and this is equal to 93, and this 96 is equal to 48, 48. So you got 48, 48, and so that determined that this number was going to be the high number immediately because of this 8. And in other words, 8 is equal to 4 plus 4 is equal to 8 too. So that's pretty much it. This is SuperLotto. I hope you enjoyed it. and I'll be doing a lot more. What I'd like to do is get a history of all the numbers in Lotto for the last 10 years, because I really would like to do an analysis on all those years, and I don't know how to get those numbers. If you happen to know how, or what website has all these numbers, this is my email address, because I want to do an analysis really quick. I already got a lot of the equivalents of all these sequences, and I want to map them out. I got it on a notepad file. But again, if you happen to know the history of all the sequences that have taken place, I don't know if Lotto gives these out, but somebody might have kept track of all these Lotto sequences, you know. I'd like them for SuperLotto, Mega, and Powerball and stuff like that. If I get a whole history of those for the last 10 years, I'm going to be able to create videos for you guys and tell you that relationship, so you know you could play a little bit better on the SuperLotto or the Mega. I'll be doing Mega too, so I hope you enjoyed all this, and we'll see you in the next wonderful world of random sequencing and sequencing random numbers. That's my email address. And again, if you happen to know where I could get those Lotto numbers, I know that Lotto has like about a year's, they keep track only about a year, but I'd like to have a whole history of those, you know. So we'll catch you in the next random sequencing with SuperLotto.